Good evening, and once again, welcome to In the Know, brought to you by the Racing Post and Coral. My name's Ross Brierley, and we're 2 days down at glorious Goodwood, although quite frankly, today seemed very different to yesterday. Glorious, is it? Right, yeah, OK, I don't think so. Heavy ground, pretty much, as the first race jumped off, and a 25-1 shot trained by Andrew Balding pulled well clear of the rest, and that pretty much signalled what we're in for the rest of the day. Admittedly, for quite a few of you, I imagine the winners were fairly easy to find. Of course, nothing could rain on Paddington's Parade. Magical Sunset, one of the most ironically named winners of the day for sure, and even the Evans opening didn't stop Big Evs from making all in the Molecombe down the rail. So like I said, they were certainly findable, that's for sure, and our pundits had a half decent day as well. We'll get to that in just a second, but like I said, I hope you've got your stallion stats out and you're playing those videos back to look for knee action so high it might well knock your selection's chin off. So let's see what we've got for tomorrow. We've got a wide open Richmond Stakes, potentially future ledger horses in the Gordon Stakes, and they're certainly going to have to stay, aren't they, to win in these conditions. And of course, Nashua went to France to win a Group 1, so France have sent over Blue Rose Sen to try and nick one back. And it could be an interesting clash in tomorrow's feature events. But once again, absolutely delighted to be joined in the studio by the Rochdale Cowboy. How you doing, John?
Yeah, good form. Better than the weather, that's for sure. Got a soaking coming in, but all dried off now and ready to go for this evening's show.
Yeah, double carved up. Are you ready?
Yes, I've had my rice and chips, with curry sauce splashed all over them, so I'm all fueled up. But Paddington today, very impressive again, wasn't he? I thought, you just can't seem to get this all speed, can we? 10 furlongs, a mile, fast ground, slow ground, you name it, he does it. Yeah,
and again, I mean, if anything, today it was impressive in the fact that it was so effortless.
Yeah, well, they took Inspiral on early doors, didn't they? And, that didn't seem to faze him. And then once Ryan got the rail, that was it, wasn't it? The French horse came to challenge, but he got his head down. And, you can't always achieve this season, can you? And I'm sure they'll go for the Judmont at York later this month. He's 7-4 favourite for that race now. Now, could he go for the Arc as well? Could he step up again to 12 furlongs? Who knows? 8-1 there, so maybe push too far the distance. But
well, I mean, it'll be a certainty in the Champion Stakes or the Irish Champion Stakes. There's loads of things.
There is loads of options, yeah.
But yeah, he just keeps on winning. Tom Segal. He's like you. He's head down, consistent, never drops a beat. Not particularly exciting, but he keeps on winning, mate.
He's extremely exciting, just like me, Ross.
I think if that's what you think exciting means, Tom, then I'm a bit worried. But it's like Mystic Meg's joined us. But he, if anything, today, I guess, like I said, he sometimes he does it so effortlessly that you start to wonder where the bottom of this horse is going to be. And like I said, he's got 3 or 4 top class targets throughout the season, and they all should be run on similar conditions to what he's experienced today.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't much of a race today, really, was it? Let's be honest about it. I mean, he didn't have much to beat, did he? So I wouldn't be getting carried away with the form of today's race at all. But what he did do is he showed his versatility. From a mile and a quarter back to a mile, fast ground, soft ground, whatever you throw at him, he comes up with the answers, doesn't he? So I'd love him to go for the Arc. I think that's the race they should target, really, because that would make him just a completely unique horse. But it's not that unique, Loads of horses have won over a mile. See the Stars has done it. Nashwan's done it. Loads of those Fillies, Sot Sassel, loads of them have stepped up and tripped to win the Arc. So I don't think it's that. I think 8-1's a perfectly decent price, because I think that's where they'll end up going with him. Because what else have they got to lose? It only enhances his reputation, doesn't it? Unless they're planning on making him a stallion in Australia, then they could go down there. But I hope he goes to the Arc. That would be fun. There's not much fun around at Goodwood this week, but that was fun. That would be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's. It was pretty depressing watching, wasn't it? I know we were expecting those conditions anyway, Tom, but it did make the whole thing just a bit. When you were watching it, I mean, we had really good horses, and form lines franked as well. Royal Ascot form with Big Evs, even Magical Sunset coming out of the Flora Bermuda. Like, they were all perfectly reasonable results and impressive winners, but just grey skies and a bit of a grey atmosphere does put a bit of a dampener on it in August.
Well, a little bit. I mean, as you say, I mean, if you back winners, don't you? No matter what the ground is. I mean, I'm sure Keels will come on in a minute and say it was a brilliant day. You know, I know he had a couple of winners and backed some each ways in the Sussex Stakes, but you know, I think flat racing should be run on fast ground. That's when it's at its best. That's when you can see horses do things they want to do. You know, but punters who win wouldn't give a damn, wouldn't care less what kind of conditions it's. So I don't want to sit here and say it was all miserable, because it certainly wasn't miserable for lots of people. Not miserable for me, really, and financially. But what it is it's just not a great spectacle. And I think you're right about that. People with their brollies up, not really watching the racing. That's not what it should be at Glorious Goodwood. But there we go. We've got 3 more days. I hope the sun's going to come out tomorrow, so I'm told. And so, you know, it'll still be heavy ground, but we'll have a much nicer day, and it'll all look. You know, everything in the garden will be rosy again.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, okay. Bet your bottom dollar then that the sun's going to come out tomorrow. A few more dollars in the pockets of Paul Kealy, who missed last night, and it's apparently done you good, Keels, because a couple of fairly easy winners in the last 2 races, and yeah, you'll be smiling, I imagine. Let's see, is he smiling? There we go. Look at that big grin.
Yeah, it started badly. There's 2 horses I most fancied of the day. Ramletto, well beaten by 1, and Fast Response, well beaten by everything. So it didn't look like being a good day. But then, yes, got out of it in the last couple of races. It was a thoroughly enjoyable day. But Tom's right. Watchable racing is what you want, and it's far more watchable when the ground's fast. And like you said, they're doing what they should be doing. But as punters, racegoers, we've got to get on with what we got, haven't we? So you've got to be keeping your eye out for the soft ground horses and hoping that the jockeys make the decision to come right across, because you just got buried if you were in the middle, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the advantage of that, Keels, is, like I said, from a punting perspective, you go, okay, well, that won't handle the ground, that won't handle the ground. You've got an instant start to narrow down the field. And even the horses who hadn't necessarily shown form on soft ground, Cracksman was a sire of the goat. He was a proper soft ground horse, wasn't he? Blue Point starting to get a really good record with juveniles on soft ground as well.
Yeah, I jumped onto Pura Sang very late in the 2-year-old race, simply because he was by a claim. Very nearly got the job done. But you get a clue from pedigrees, and obviously you get a clue from what they've done on the track when they've run.
I do indeed. Well, we'll get stuck in.
That's it, Ross. That's it. The problem is that at these Goodwood races, most of them, we've got a lot of 3-year-old, 2-year-old races, haven't we? I mean, tomorrow the first 3 races are young horses, aren't they? And none of some of them have run on it, but there's lots that haven't, and they might like it. And that's the guessing game you have to play. You can play the sires might like it. You can play they might want on good to soft, all those sort of games. But it's a totally different kettle of fish. So you do have to use a bit of guesswork. But what you're saying, and where you're both exactly right, you play the percentages, don't you? You play the stars, you play the ones that have got the actions, you play the ones that might have won on soft ground or seen that, you know what I mean? If you can play the percentages, you give yourself a better chance. But that doesn't mean the goat isn't going to turn up and smash you to smithereens like it happened in the first.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But anyway, let's get stuck into tomorrow. We'll smash the whole card to smithereens in just a second. But first, it's this. There you go. If you do want to be a producer at the Racing Post...
Is that you sniggering? We could hear all of that. Everyone knew you were sniggering. I just thought I'd let you know that.
Yeah, sorry. But I'm just saying that if you want to be a producer at the Racing Post, send us an email. If you can smash your hand into a keyboard and hope that the right thing plays, then you've got a job. But just a taste of the other things to come a little bit later on. But there you go. Yeah, Glorious Goodwood then. Day 3. Hello to everyone on the chat, by the way. Stevens 99, Rob Dixon, No Pataya for Shannon, Jonathan Sherritt, Kieran McCalman, and Genghis 26, and everyone who is tuning in. Maybe
is Andy Valentino on, or whatever his name was from last night?
Andy Fandango, I believe it was.
Andy Fandango, yeah.
Yeah,
is he around?
I don't think... Andy Fandango, are you listening? That's what we want to know. That's what we want to know. Before we get stuck into the card, do you have any, John, any hour-long price boost before people can...
Yes. We must mention those. Espionage is the first, the Gordon Richards Stakes. That's going to be 2-1 for the next hour up to 7 o'clock. £20 maximum bet there on that one. And then the filly from France, the impressive filly, she's pushed out to 11-8. Blue Rolls Sen. Will there be a fawn in her side tomorrow? She's 11-8 up until 7 o'clock, as I say, up to £20. So two of the popular horses tomorrow. A bit of a price boost on those.
There you go. And even threw in a pun. Not even.
Oh, I should leave those to you, shouldn't I? To be fair.
No. It was just so casual. You weren't looking at me. You weren't looking at the camera. You didn't emphasise it. It was subtle. I should learn from you, really. Rather than the old breeze block through a window approach that I prefer. But right, got a couple then. Espionage win the Gordon Richards Stakes. I thought his form might have gone under the radar, but no, he's 2-1 from 6-4. Far that. There you go. The opener tomorrow then, the 150, the Coral Kingston Handicap, 17 of them so far in theory, but we might well lose a few of those. We've already started to lose a few non-runners throughout the day. But Perfuse is 5-2 favourite for this opener. Garden Route is 9-1. Coverdale 10s, Alsakib 10s, Obelix 11s. Theory of Everything is 12s with Promoter and Royal Rhyme, and then bigger prices at Silver Swords in Good Nick. Have Secret comes out of a good race, 2 good races really. Killybeg Warrior was in good form last time out. Crackshot. There's plenty of horses in here who have shown really rock solid form. Tom, I'm going to come to you first for this. I love a 3-year-old handicap. I think this looks a really, really strong one. Obviously, you can completely understand why the favourite is the favourite. Handles conditions, it was a bit of an eye catcher at Royal Ascot.
Yeah, massive eye catcher at Ascot, Ross. Like you, I love this race. Well, I love it normally. Tomorrow, obviously, is a little bit different, but there's loads of horses here that actually seem that I think will like the ground. Perfuse is one of them. He's already won on heavy ground, isn't he? At, I don't know, 2 starts ago. He was impressive at Doncaster. And last time at Ascot, he went way too quickly in that handicap, which Desert Hero won, didn't he? He was one of the ones that raced up with the pace in a race where it was ridiculous. They went ridiculously fast. In fact, the only 2 winners to come out of it are David Deo and Sirius, or whatever it's called, Symbol or whatever. And they were last. They were 18th and 19th. And they were the 2 that went off like golden cats. So just shows you how ridiculously run that race is. But Perfuse was up with the pace, ran a perfectly good race. Every reason why he can't be better than that, and I see the reason why he's favourite. But unless you're Keels and you're prepared to back Ross Brierley at 2-1, which everyone should have, 5-2 to me looks short in a race where there's going to be heavy ground. You're going to have to in and out of tight gaps to get yourself in the right position on the track. So you got to take him on at those prices. And also, there's loads that could improve here. Theory of Everything loves fast ground. Promoter, for example, is from a family that love heavy ground. All his family love heavy ground. He was an eye catcher at Epsom last time behind Torito. Royal Rhyme was impressive on soft ground and then might have done too much too soon. Even the bottom one, David Manwizier's horse that won Goodwood over mile and 2 furlongs on heavy ground. He could go well. I ended up on the one you mentioned there, Have Secret, Ross, just because I think he's just massively underrated. He's running 2 of the hottest handicaps of the season so far. The London Gold Cup behind Bertinelli, ran a cracker at Royal Ascot. The 3rd horse went and ran a cracker at Royal Ascot. Desert Hero was behind him. He was the only one. He finished first on his side, up the far side. They all won up the middle that day at Newbury, and he was first home and 4th. Then he went to Ascot, track 2. I think the first 8 home would draw 9, 11, 18, 19, 20. It's one of those races where Ascot looked it really hard to win from a low draw. No horse did it all week, hardly. And I thought he ran a cracker in 4th there. He was 4 lengths clear of the rest. He's only gone up £3. Last year at Nottingham in very, very soft ground, he won a Nursery by a long way. I just thought he was underestimated. I don't know if he can beat some of these. There's plenty in there that can improve. Crackshot, another one, for example. But I thought on what he's done this season, he's right up there with them. And this probably isn't as good a race as the 2 that he's run so well in. So he acts on soft ground. So Have Secret it was for me.
Okay, yeah, Have Secret. Yeah, like I said, Richard Farr, he's in fantastic form as well, which certainly isn't a bad thing. So Have Secret for Tom, then plenty of others with the chance. I've had a little bit. Keels on Goldsborough at a bigger price as well. He's a heavy ground course winner, and we saw Andrew Balding have a very good day today. He's currently a 28-1 shot. But I mean, like I said, yeah, you've got Goldsborough, you've got Entrancement. They've all got heavy ground form. We've got a Baltic Voyage, there's a huge price of Rafe Beckett. Surely there's something up your sleeve for this one, mate.
Well, yeah, it's funny. I actually had a saver on Tom's one, Have Secret, about 25 minutes ago. Just having another look at the race, but I came down on Royal Rhyme. Again, there's no shortage of soft ground horses in this race, so we might not get that many non-runners. But Royal Rhyme has won both starts on soft ground, and although only 11th in the London Gold Cup, he was actually going as well as anything a couple of furlongs out. I just don't think he has the speed of some of them on decent ground, which it was that day. And you know, he was only beating 4 3/4 lengths, and like Tom said, I think 5 of the first 8 home hit the first 4 in at Royal Ascot. So it was, the London Gold Cup we know is a really, really good race. I don't think we saw the best of Royal Rhyme there. Like I said, he's won two races on soft ground, so he's going to get what suits him this time. So I think he's a big player, and everyone can see the case for Perfuse. That's the problem, though, isn't it? He's 5-2, and it's bottomless ground. I've had my fingers burnt betting short prices in big handicaps twice this week already. Amleto and Milbosk, who was a disaster. Amleto just got beat by the thing that swam through the mud in the first race today. It's okay backing horses like Ross Colin because they're running in much lower class races, and but with these big handicaps, there's always something that has a little bit up their sleeve, and I've got to stop this nonsense of backing short prices in these big handicaps. Not my normal MO, and I discovered why today. So yeah, I'm going for Royal Rhyme at a much bigger price.
Okay, Royal Rhyme, yeah, who, like you said, at Newbury was going really well until about a furlong out, but the speed certainly collapsed that day. Plenty of others as well. I mean, here I go again on my own, but I'm going down the only road I've ever known. But like a twister, I was born to walk alone, and I've made up my mind I ain't wasting more time, and I do think Coverdale has got a good chance. Well, I thought that'd be funny when I wrote it. But
laugh at your own joke, mate. Laugh at your own joke.
Someone's got to, haven't you? But yes, Whitesnake fans or Bethel fans or Ripon Handicap fans, this horse he never got a gap until the very last moment last time out at Ripon and shot home. He's definitely got more to come. He's got soft ground form as well. I want something worse than that pun-wise, John, and I also want at least one extra place.
I think we're going to struggle all day to get a worse one than that, but I can give you an extra place. We've got 5 places on this race, Ross, so that's good for each way backers. And I quite like Coverdale. He's 4 from 4 since being gelded. All of those wins coming at this distance. Okay, going up £5 for that win at Ripon, but there could be more improvement on this ground. In terms of other price boost, Ryan Moore, will he have 2 or more runners on the card? We're going 5-2 there. Obviously, he's got some fancied runners later in the day, so if he fancied Perfuse and maybe something else, that's one way to play. And then Charlie Johnson to have a winner on the card, that's even money out to 6-4, and I think he's got 3 in this race. Don't fancy any of them, I have to say, but if you fancy any of them or
not in
any
heavy
other
ground, surely.
No, 6-4 on the price boost. I've probably got about 6-7 runners across the card, so I think that's a decent boost there. But 5 places, I think, good start to the day. That.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, but also I could easily back 7th, 8th and 9th, and they could all run career best. So it does look an absolutely incredibly difficult opener. As for the people at home, Jimbo's going for Coverdale, I don't think because of my nonsense. Goldsborough says Genghis as well. Promoter for Destiny Sounds. Duncan says has Ross lost the plot. And Rob Dixon says bring back Rod, where all is forgiven. So there you go. But the 150 at Goodwood, the opener on a heavy ground day 3. Tom, how are you playing it?
Yeah, I'll probably have more than one bet, but first one will be Have Secret. I'm tempted by Keels' Royal Rhyme. I also thought right at the bottom, David, the whatever it's called, Entrancement.
Yeah.
Might run well at 40-1. I just think course form, heavy ground. The trainer does very well at the track when the ground's soft. So that would be my 3, but the main one is Have Secret.
Okay, and Keels?
Well, I've saved on Have Secret. I've backed Royal Rhyme, and if you can't say Menuisier, let's just call him David Carpenter from now on, shall we?
If you like. I mean, we were butchering Spanish pronunciations last night. Why not French pronunciations tonight as well? Or hair metal songs, depending on your preference. But it just looks way too tough, doesn't it? Like I said, I've had a little bit on Goldsborough, but John, do you have a
Coverdale to keep the winning run going for me?
Yeah, he does have a big chance, doesn't he, on that win last time out. He just keeps on winning. 150 Goodwood goes into a very different test, the Richmond Stakes, a Group 2 filed the juveniles over 6 furlongs, and notable absentees, 4 of them, Jassor, Watch My Tracer, Emperor's Son and Unquestionable, are all out of this race, which has blown it to pieces because you're the favourite and the second favourite are now out, which leaves Van Dijk at the top of the betting at 15-8 for the Crisford team. Then we've got Sketch at 3-1, Bobsleigh 6-1, Asadnar 13-2, Haller Emirati at 9-1. And then we've also got in there Ballymount Boy, Toca Madeira and Nazalan. Yeah, fascinating contest this Keels. Plenty of subplots as well. Obviously the Asadna subplot after that Ascot bomb out and switched to Alice Haynes. Wasn't so good last time out, but I think we'll appreciate conditions. Obviously Van Dijk represents connections that always seem to have their horses well backed. And is it going to be a draw race? Could Sketch win?
Oh, very, very good. Very, very good. Yeah, he could. I mean, it's funny. I was looking at this race and I was, because of the ground, I was hoping I'd take on the 2 favourites, but they've come out. And the two I looked at most were Van Dijk and Sketch. So I'm now at the front of the market. I certainly couldn't be backing both of them now. I did like Sketch at Newbury. He bounded away to win by 5 lengths. Don't know how good the race was, but I think Martin Mead won that race with Method a few years back, and he was very well liked at the time. Didn't quite come up to scratch, but I think Sketch looks pretty decent to me. He's by showcasing half a chance to land on the ground. Don't really know. The interesting thing about Asadna is that Alice Haynes' other horse, Haller Emirati, was about 4 times the price earlier on in the day before the favourites come out, and has now gone into a shorter price than Asadna. So somebody knows something.
Well, yeah, or potentially there's a bell ringing in the back of my mind that I'm going to go over to Tom now, and he's going to say it's his fault. But Sadna 13-2, Haller Emirati 9-1. Anything to do with that, Mr. Segal?
Yeah, everything to do with me, probably. Unfortunately, I mean, it was a shame because I quite liked Haller Emirati earlier in the. I should have done a Keels. Keels tells me all the time to back these horses, and I never got around to doing it. And he was like 50-1 2 days ago, and now he's 9-1, and I would have got all these non-runners out the way as well. But I missed the price, but I had a few quid on him earlier at a bigger price than that. But I just thought he was the one horse that I was certain was going to love the ground. The way he moved, the way he won at Ripon. He's the only horse ever to have beaten Big Evs. The horse that he beat on his debut is something like £17 well in the nursery. Coming on later in the day, was 4th in a listed race at Sandown. I just thought he was overpriced because I know he'll like the ground. He's crying out for a step up to 6 furlongs. Look, Van Dijk and Sketch could be a different class to him. Obviously they could, but we don't know that yet. Van Dijk's only won a Nottingham Radium. Sketch, I thought, like Keels, looked more impressive, but I'm not convinced that was the best race I've ever seen. And I just thought at the prices, or what were the prices, Haller Emirati was going to run a good race. He was 7th in the Windsor Castle, but the ground was too quick, and then he went too fast at Sandown afterwards. I just think he could make the running here and get the rail, and therefore be in the right position, especially with all these ones coming out. I think it's not as classy a race as it looked, and yeah, I think his form ties in there. He's not too far off the rest.
Yeah, no, I think you're probably about right, and he should be in theory in a half decent position. I mean, let's make a joke about Sketch, but also, I mean, that Newbury form was really, really good. The time was really, really good. It was a really impressive performance. The first thing in my head though was, he was at Newbury, he was drawn low, he was down the middle of the track, and he made all the running. But there is, the way the sprints have gone so far, a possibility that he'll just get those ideal conditions again, and bang, he'll be off and gone. And then when I watched the replay back again, he kind of pulled away for a second time. So there's quite a lot of promising horses in here. But part of me did think after a furlong, you might think, Sketch is going to dot up here. Yeah,
and listen, he could improve again. Any horse that wins a novice race by 5 lengths, you've got to applaud it, haven't you? So yeah, he's the one that I landed on. I have to say, it's such a shame we've lost the top 2 in the betting because, you know, as Kealy said there, if you were happy to take those 2 on, all of a sudden now you're in a bit of a bad situation, aren't you? You know, you're getting 15 to 8 free to one of our horses, which were probably 6 to 1 and 4 to 2, 9 to 2, them kind of prices. So
and
bit
also,
of a shame on that
potentially slamming into them each way for half decent odds as well.
Absolutely right. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully we don't lose any more tomorrow, because we've got now 8 runners, haven't we, here? So you've got the 3 places at the moment. So hopefully we don't lose any more. But yeah, Sketch was the one. I quite like that debut. I thought he could improve again, and I'm happy to take the 3 to 1.
Yeah. Like I said, I think probably the kind of horses like Sketch there, Tom, is after a furlong, it could either be 1 to 2 or 20 to 1 Sketch, depending on how that first break goes for a horse like that. But
yeah, we've got to look. Van Dijk was, I think he might have been the fastest breezer of the year or something. I mean, he cost 625,000 out of the breeze up sale, so he's clearly very fast. A lot of good horses come out of the breezes these days, but to be very far, it wouldn't have been very heavy ground when he did his breeze, and it probably wasn't it was soft-ish ground at Nottingham. It's not going to be anything like we've seen here. He could be the class of the race, Van Dijk. There's no doubt about that. But under the conditions, any experienced horses, I'd take them both on. We saw that with Hartem earlier. We saw Flora of Bermuda, didn't we? We've seen horses with the one horses haven't really been coming good this week because I think ground makes it difficult for them.
Yeah, I'm just seeing someone's just asked, has a horse off one run ever won the Richmond? So I'm just can I one run 5 from 21, so 24% strike rate. So actually, yes, but without digging too deep into those. But Van Dijk 15 to 8. Yeah, I'm going to take Sketch to potentially make it all down the rail. But Haller Emirati for you, Tom, and Keels.
Yeah, it was Sketch for me, but I mean, it's not a race I'm going to be playing in myself.
Okay, fair enough. So you're not putting Sketch in the paper. Anyway, and John, you with
Sketch? That's 3 of us.
Lovely stuff. There we go. Right, that's the Richmond Stakes then. Moving on to the Gordon Stakes here. Again, potentially.
What a good race.
Sorry?
What a good race this is, Ross.
You're being serious, because I thought it was a good race. Yeah, just checking. Yeah. My sarcasm generator is always ready. I'm ready to go. But Espionage is 6 to 4 favourite here. Chess Piece 9 to 2. Artistic Star 9 to 2. Desert Hero 11 to 2. Canberra Legend 6 to 1. And Bird Up Road at 16 to 1. Like I said, this is normally a stepping stone to potential classic glory, or at least having a good old go at it. But yeah, you've got Espionage at 6 to 4, who was listed winner last time out, and Group 1 place as a juvenile. But like you said, Tom, you go through the lot of them. I'm really excited to see an Artistic Star back on soft ground. Chess Piece looks tough as old boots. Desert Hero represents that Ascot form. Burdett Road was a really impressive winner at Royal Ascot as well. And Canberra Legend, like I said, he was a little bit unlucky, and he'll be better on soft ground as well. And when he won at Newmarket, they were talking about all sorts of challenges for him. So all 6 of them have got really solid claims.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good race. I mean, there's no one really missing, is it, as a St. Ledger trial, as far as I could see. Funnily enough, the one I wasn't sure was going to go on the ground was the favourite, Espionage. I know he handled heavy ground when he was a 2-year-old, but I don't think that was anything like his best form. I think they really think he's a really top, potentially a top-class horse. But I'm not sure he'll love the ground. I didn't think he completely loved it in France. But all the rest, bar Burdett Road, who we don't know, love soft ground. Chess Piece definitely loves it. Artistic Star's 2 from 2 on soft ground. Desert Hero's 2 from 2 on soft, and he's 1 on heavy 2. Canberra Legend won his best form was at Newmarket at the start of the season, when it was softer than they say good to soft. So, you've got 4 of the next 4 in the market, all I think will have no problems with conditions. So you're asking Espionage to be really good to beat them under these conditions. I think on good ground, I would make him, he would be near enough favourite. On heavy ground, I think he's a ridiculously short price to beat those 4. Burdett Road was impressive at Ascot, but I think he's got a bit to prove in terms of ground and trip. So I thought it was between the 4. I was tossing up between all of them and couldn't make my mind up in the end, so I left it alone. But like you, I like Artistic Star, and I also think if it keeps raining, and Keels is down there and says it is still raining, that Chess Piece will really, really like a slog in the mud. I think he'll improve for a step up for a stamina test. He ran in the Queen's Vase behind Gregory and St. George. So he would be my choice just but I think it's a really, really interesting race. I think it's it's one of those races that's hard to bet it, but I'm really looking forward to watching.
Yeah, no, I kind of know what you mean. Well, I mean, I say I kind of know what you mean, but I do really fancy Artistic Star. I was keen on him when he won at the back end of last season, and that Sandown performance, he just kept going and going, and he battered Torito, didn't he? And I don't think he's been suited by those 2 runs since. And there's also part of me, I have a soft spot for Beckett when it gets soft, Keels.
Sorry, mate. Dave Lowe was showing me his mum's bets, so
Right. I mean, there were a lot of ends to that sentence.
What were you on about?
Never mind that. What's she back, Keels?
Or should we be on these?
Yeah.
She put a couple of mine in a Trixie in the first 2 of 1, and she's got the Goffer in the Galway plate, so we're going to have to watch that while we're on air as well. Anyway, this race, I was trying to find a bet. I actually came to the opposite conclusion to Tom. I thought Espionage's best form is by a country mile when finishing second in that Group 1 last year on RPRs, so he clearly handles it. If he doesn't like it, he's won on soft as well. Brought back late, don't know why he was brought back late. Maybe he had a problem, but he's a very, very strong stayer. And I just thought he was the most likely winner. It's not a race it's not a race I wanted to have a bet in. I tried to fancy Desert Hero, but then it was a case he took advantage of a bit of a pace collapse, didn't he, at Ascot, and still has plenty to find on that. I can see the case for Artistic Star, but I just thought the Fav would win. Yeah. So I got bored and went to the next race.
Okay, you went bored and gave Dave Lowe's mum a ring. Is she cashing out? That's the question. I don't know. But Espionage, 6-4 favourite. Then Farley at the Gordon Stakes. John, yeah, like I said, all 6 of them here, and I'm going to throw a right curveball to you, but I want a St Ledger anti-post market.
You can have it, yeah. Well, he's 7-1 for the St Ledger.
What a man!
He's been nibbled today. Actually, he was 9-1 this morning. So you would ask the question now: who's backing him for the St Ledger? Is there confidence in the yard behind him? Don't forget that price boost as well, 2-1 to win this race tomorrow. I think it's one of the races of the week. I'm really looking forward to it. One of them, a small select field, but real quality in there. I like Chess Piece. I think he's got some solid form. Third behind Gregory in the Queen's Vase as well. Gregory's obviously the 5-2 favourite for the Ledger. So that will do for me. But Espionage 7-1 for the Ledger, and Chess Piece 16-1 for the final classic of the season.
A slight worry about Chess Piece is that he's the front runner, soft ground, mile and a half, and he's going to really have to get those fractions right, which can be quite difficult at Goodwood. But I mean, tactically, Tom, this is the most interesting race of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Chess Piece will make the running, as you say. Can be bad, can't it? As you say, I always feel that Goodwood's on a pace knife edge, isn't it? If you go slightly too early, you set yourself up for you can win from miles back, as we saw in the first race of the meeting. And if you go slightly too slow, it's a massive advantage to be in front, and it's really hard to judge. But I think Chess Piece has got very solid credentials.
Okay.
And 9 times out of 10, Ryan Moore's the man you want to be on Espionage for the tactical battles, don't you? He always seems to get the right decisions, doesn't he? Obviously, he's always on the best horses, but he always seems to get it right. And even today, I thought the way he got the rail on Paddington at the time he did, it was the right move, and it won him the race.
Yeah, I mean, or Buick, but he's not riding, so
that's very true. Yeah, James Hall will have to do for the Godolphin team tomorrow.
Yeah. Chess Piece then is a 9-2 shot, but Espionage is 6-4. Have they spied the winner, says Chris Graham. Lovely stuff. Expected a James Bond pun here. Genghis, come on, I mean, you're welcome to join in if you like, although maybe you're better than that. Burdett Road won't win, but he's no slouch. Desert Hero for His Majesty, says Duncan Evans. So they've all got wide open chances, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Artistic Star back on soft going, but it's...
It is Chess Piece for me, I have to think there.
Chess Piece for you. And Tom?
Yeah, I like Chess Piece, I think.
Okay. And Keels?
Fav wins.
Fair enough.
And don't forget Dave Lowe's mum. What's she gone for?
How could I?
I hope the Fav does win, because he was my anti-post St Ledger selection. I'm worried that he's not going to like the ground, Keels.
Right, okay.
There you go. But again, like I said, Dave Lowe's mum will be on the show tomorrow night. Most people don't even know who Dave Lowe is, do they? He's senior producer behind the scenes at the Racing Post. Let's move on, shall we?
He has incidentally just bought an enormous bargain bucket from KFC. So you're going to struggle to hold my attention for another 25 minutes as well.
Save your appetite for the Marmite.
Yeah, that is true, Keels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you don't want to fill yourself up.
you get that spoon on the ready. I'm gonna get past the feature and then.
Okay, the Marmite is here.
Okay, you're ready and raring to go. And you never know. We're always in the market for new sponsors. Not to replace our current one, but maybe we could get a feature sponsor. The feature for tomorrow though is the Nassau Stakes, Group 1 over the 10 furlongs for the fillies and mares, and a fascinating clash again of generations, but also a rare French raider in this race. Blue Rose Sen coming over 10-11 for Christopher Head after that impressive win at Chantilly last time out. Nashwa, though, dropping back to a mile last time out and looked a revelation at Newmarket, but is back up in trip here at 2-1. She was beaten over this trip by Al Hussein before that, though, and it's 9-1 for the Roger Varian challenger. Above the curve, hard to work out just how good she is, but there's a couple of pieces of real standout form on softish ground. She's 9-1. Caernarfon is 20's a never-ending story. Cracking film, but unlikely to get involved here at 40-1. Blue Rose Sen, almost the fillies equivalent of Paddington this season, Keels. Just keeps on winning. Things are falling right for her every time. She's always in a good position, but it's good horses that allow you to get them into that good position and take advantage. And is she a horse you want to take on tomorrow, or do you think she's the best of the bunch?
No, again, it's not a betting race for me. It did look like a match. So for betting purposes, I just move on to the next one. I mean, it's a fascinating race between the two. Don't get me wrong, I just won't be punting in it. I think Nashma might have won the Sussex Stakes if she's run. I think she's just become quicker, and I think she's very, very good. But she can be keen, can't she? Small field, keen, bottomless ground. I know she's run well in Oaks and whatever, but she just seems to be getting quicker to me. And I just worry whether she'll, if she's keen, she's going to be able to give £8 to Blue Rose Sen, who just keeps winning on soft ground as well. It's another favourite for me. I don't really see what else is going to get in it. I know that Al Hussein did beat her, but it was her first. It was she wasn't best placed, put it that way, in that race. And I just think it's one of those two, and I think the French filly will win.
Okay, Blue Rose Sen 10-11, but again a rare raider. 2014 was the last time one came over with a genuine chance. Tom, when Narneen was beaten by Sultanina, who was trained by John Gosling at the time. So he'll have, I think he'll be fairly confident about Nashwa having a chance here. And like you said, she was way too keen at Newcastle, and she actually ran a bit of a blinder given that track. But can she beat Blue Rose Sen, or do you think the classic filly's the one?
Well, no, I think the classic filly's the one myself. I think the Falmouth Stakes form's pretty moderate. I know she could have won by 20 lengths probably if things had gone well, but I think Blue Rose Sen is a real superstar. Since Christopher Head took over training, I think she's just, she's unbeaten, I think. And she was super impressive stepped up in trip in the Diane last time. I think she could end up running in the Arc and running really well. So I expect her to win tomorrow, especially as she loved the ground. When she won on Arc Day, it was ground that would have been similar to what she's going to race on tomorrow. I can't believe Nashwa really wants it like that. Above the curves form was given a boost on Sunday. The horse she beat won the Group 1 in the field. But I think it's between the two. And like Keel says, it's not really a betting race for me, but I like the top one, Blue Rose Sen. I think she's really good.
Okay, 10-11 on Blue Rose Sen, the French raider. We need to have a quick mention of Al Hussein, though. I'm not entirely sure about the conditions for Al Hussein, Tom, but again, she's another one that just keeps on winning. I kind of expected her to take another step, maybe a step into Group 2 and then end on a Group 1, but they've gone straight to take on Nashwa again. What are her chances?
Yeah, I don't know. Not for me, because I think she's got to make a massive step forward. I don't think that was the Nashwa we saw last year or at Newmarket, the one she beat at Newcastle. But she does keep winning. You're right. She's by Dubawi, so there's a chance she'll like the ground. She was second in it at the start of the season, wasn't she, on soft ground? I personally think she's a little bit below the rest. I think Above the Curve's more interesting than her. She's won a proper Group 1 filly. But I still think the French filly will win, and I think it'll be a struggle for Al Hussein if the truth is told.
Okay, fair enough. Blue Rose then 10-11 here. It's pretty much the match we were expecting and the match we wanted, John. There's no particularly strong opinions elsewhere either. It's as solid as you get.
Yeah, absolutely. I spoke to Jim Crowley this morning. He thinks Elhusson will handle the ground. The cut in the ground will favour her, but she's got to find on ratings, he said. So, he certainly believes that the top two are the better and the ones he's got to beat in the race. Don't forget that price boost on Blue Rose Sen out to 11 to 8 up until 7 o'clock. It tips on 10 to 11 right now. So I think that's good value there. I'm like the boys. I think she'll win. I think she's a very good filly. I think the two that have won the Oaks and the Derby out there, good horses, aren't they? Ace Impact's 5 to 1 favourite for the Arc in October, and if you fancy Blue Rose Sen, 12 to 1 to win the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. And if she wins well tomorrow, I should imagine that price will disappear very fast.
Okay, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do tactically tomorrow, though, because she's quite prominent as well, and it's going to be pretty testing ground, but she does keep just going and going and going and going. So 10 to 11 then Blue Rose Sen to win the feature race on day 3, and I think we pretty much all think that's going to happen, and in the chat as well. I think it's pretty much a 2-horse race. French horse just wins, says Rob Dixon as well. Okay then, fascinating clash in the feature race, but not necessarily much of a betting heat. So let's move on, shall we? We've got 4 more races tomorrow, starting off with a 7-furlong nursery where Gray's Inn is well in, 5 to 2 favourite here for Jack Shannon. 17 to 2 Mission to Moon, 9 to 1 Doddy's Impact, Ballon d'Or 9 to 1, Gamron 9 to 1, Lincoln Legacy 9 to 1, Macanudo is 10s, Phone Tag 11s, bigger prices Condé, Count Palatine, Persian Phoenix, Maroof and Saracana here for a 7-furlong nursery where plenty of them making their handicap debut here. Plenty of them shown ability. Not too many of them look obvious on the ground, though. Unlike the first handicap, for example, where you had plenty of soft ground pedigrees. Not too many of them here, Mr. Segal. But we do have a soft ground favourite who's the best part of a stone well in after that 4th at Sandown last time out. It almost looks a bit too obvious, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does a bit, but it was a good run last time. Whatever. They're getting much better, improving fast. 5 to 2 in this kind of ground, not for me really. Thought it was a really hard race. I was quite interested in Brian Meehan's horse at a big price. That I think he does really well at Goodwood. Isaac Shelby won well earlier in the day. The horse by Profitable that I've forgotten its name, and you're going to help me out, Ross.
In this Count Palatine.
Count Palatine, that's the one, yeah. I thought he ran quite well the other day, and I just thought at the prices he might be the one to give Gray's Inn a race. Okay. But it's not. This is the archetypal race where something is going to improve massively because they like the ground and something doesn't. So it's really hard. Obviously, Gray's Inn is the one to beat. £17 well in though.
Yeah. Yeah, it drove me a bit mad. I thought, we'll find something in this race. But yeah, Mission to Moon, I thought ran really well, but doesn't have a soft ground pedigree. Doddy's Impact won the Brocklesby, but it was a shocking renewal of it. Gamron was a bit of an eye catcher at Doncaster. He could be a little bit interesting, to be fair, for the Farheed team. Maybe you've got something.
Ran very well, didn't he, at Epsom in the Woodcote? Went a bit too fast. He had Hartem behind him that day, didn't he?
Which one, sorry? Ballon d'Or, yeah.
Yeah, I remember we talked about it at the time where we said he'd gone fast and he'll win a good race one day. I'm not sure 7 furlongs is his thing.
I think that's the thing. I remember as we said he'd drop back to 5, make all and not get caught, not step up to 7 in heavy ground.
Yeah, that's the thing. But sometimes class can out, can't it? He's the class, obviously being the top weight. He's the classiest horse in the race, and he's got the best form. So you never know. He's a good horse, Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, he is. But he's by Kodiak out of a Requinto mare, isn't he? So.
Yeah, but Kodiak is Magical Sunset, isn't he? But Kodiak gets quite a few that like soft ground.
Yeah,
I wouldn't worry about the Kodiak part.
Oh no, it was just the all speed part, wasn't it? It was just.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at that and thinking, 7 furlongs might be a stretch. But like you said, who knows? Pedigrees aren't the be all and end all, are the Mr. Kealy?
They're certainly not. I mean, pretty much every sire has winners on soft ground, even if they were fast ground sires, and they do better with their progeny on faster ground. It's just a fact. Sometimes you just have to wait and see. But we know that about Gray's Inn, don't we? We've run 3 times on soft ground, 4th career best in the listed race, won the time before, and first time out this season, second to Hala Emirati, who's being punted for the Richmond Stakes. She's rated 90. She's running off 73. You will not see very many horses go off odds against when they're that far clear. I do think it's a monster overreaction by the handicapper, to be honest. I don't think she should be anywhere near 90, but she is well in. And it wouldn't be surprised if she hacked up, because she hacks the ground, because she acts on the ground. I was half interested in Phone Tag. Just thought he's shaped really well on 3 starts for Hugo Palmer, but again, we don't know anything about the ground. I think 5-2 is probably a very fair price, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, even if you don't take the Sandown run, I mean, it was half a length behind Haller Emirati, who's rated 89 on debut. Sankari was back in third at Musselburgh in that cellar on the second starts, now rated 84. Chattanooga, who beat it at Haydock for Archie Watson's, rated 88, and back in fourth was Nelly Lalax, who's now rated 83. So, yeah, it's...
Could be looking a gift horse in the mouth, couldn't you? You know what I mean? It's just a case of, 5-2, £17 well in. I can't imagine any horse has ever gone off at that big a price, having been well in officially.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, if they'd gone to, I don't know, Leicester or something, they might be 1-2 for a race like this. So
absolutely.
They've gone for the tougher challenge. They've gone for the 30 grand pot, which is sensible in one way. It could come back to bite them, because they could run a blinder and something improves a stone. But yeah, fair play to them, because like I said, they've got a cracking chance here.
And she just looks very obvious, doesn't she? You sometimes you do your best to take them on, but I couldn't find anything to take her on with, so it's grazing for me. In terms of extra places, 4 places here for each way backers. So if you do want to back something maybe at double digits, this will be a good race to do so. But it's the favourite for me, Ross.
Yeah, okay. Grazing 5-2. Has anyone else rustled up anything on the chat? Count Palatine for Rob Dixon looks promising on debut made for nurseries. Macanudo for me, a little each way touch on Maroof, says Jonathan Sherritt. And Duncan Evans says, is the plate off yet, Keels? It's not, is it?
It's not. No, it's not.
Oh no, it is now. It is right now. Okay, so
right now.
Right now, the Galway plate is underway currently. The nursery then at Goodwood, a tough one in a sense, but I think quite a few of us fancy the favourite to go in. But just remind us of your angle, Keels and Tom.
Well, I'm a big Brian Meehan fan at Goodwood. His horses run really well then, so I might have a few quid on Count Paladine, but Gray's Inn is clearly the one to beat. Yeah,
okay, there we go. Right, 4:45 at Goodwood then. I said 3 more races to get through on tomorrow's card. Isle of Jura is a non-runner, and George Scott has Paul Morvis horses out for tomorrow. No great surprise given the conditions, which means that Novus could well make a reappearance as favourite only 2 days after being narrowly touched off in a valuable Fillies race here at the track, 9-2, and I will actually love the way the ground has gone. 7-1 Metal Merchant, Segal 7s, Man of Eden 8s, Roaring Success 9s, Glenfinnan 9s, Spyro is 9-1. I've also got Sky Sail, who's got course form, Can in the Rain, who would be an aptly named winner. Dream of Mischief, Amanda Perrott, who often has big price winners round here. Mary Minster, who was disappointing last time out, but handles soft ground as well. This is more like it, Keels. This is a handicap. There's plenty in here with cracking chances. Novus, though, absolutely obvious for the Moore and Kealy team. Course form, soft ground form, ran really well a couple of days ago. I mean, there's 5 or 6 in here with cracking chances. But again, another favourite, you can understand why she's there, sorry.
Yeah, well, funny enough, I backed her about 30 seconds after she passed the post on Tuesday, because I thought, hang on a minute, she's got stall 1, she's twice the price she's just gone off at and finished second and ran into one as well that was really well backed of the Johnstons. I think it was 18s to 10s on the day, and she's run an absolute cracker. Now, she was drawn wide that day. You can't really blame the draw for the defeat, because they were all drawn wide, and if you're held up, you got to make sure you come right over, because if you're in the middle of the track today, you were buried. But if she can get a position and come right over, she's going to be a massive runner, isn't she? Because she's going to like the ground. It wasn't as soft as some of us, or me at least, had expected on Tuesday, but it's definitely going to be a bog tomorrow, and she loved that. She'll go well. I also think Sky Sail will go well for Marcus Tregoning. He seemed to really like this horse last season when he won at Newbury, and he did win on easy ground, beat a talented but frustrating horse called Man of Eden here in May. Ran a stinker on fast ground next time, but then was back right in good form at Ascot last time, back on good to soft ground. So I think it looks like to me like he likes a bit of soft ground. and he'd be another one. Tregonin said last year he was quite excited about him as a 3-year-old going forwards, and he has won 2 career bests this season, so he's not far off. And he's another trainer who's always liked to have a winner at this meeting.
Yeah, I thought that Ascot 2-day card might well be an interesting angle here, because you've also got Roaring Success, Tom, who came off the back of a break and beat loads of informed horses at Ascot and just kept going and going and going. But yeah, loads in here. What's on your shortlist?
Yeah, I quite like the top one, Ross. Glenn Finnan, Andrew Balding. Good day today. Horses, that for some unknown reason, that maybe it's the way he trains or something, they tend to like soft ground, even if the pedigrees don't say so. We saw that with Goat and Flora of Bermuda today. And Glenn Finnan was second in the Convivial last year to, was it Naval Order? He had High Royal.
Desert Order, wasn't it? Yeah, Desert Order, yeah.
And he had High Royal behind him, didn't he?
Yeah.
I just thought, I didn't think it was a great race. Metal Merchant won a nice nursery up at Ayr, didn't he? But he was pulled out because of good to soft ground last time, which made me worry about his chances. Novus, I didn't think quite got home the other day on soft ground. I thought she was coming to win and didn't quite see out the race as well as I was expecting. So, I like Roaring Success. I like Plenty, but I might end up having a few quid on Glenn Finnan just because the Andrew Balding form and the form of his performance in York last year in the Convivial, I thought was really high class effort.
Okay, yeah, Glenn Finnan, another one to throw into the mix then at 9-1. But yeah, there's just so many in here with chances. Metal Merchant's got similar form claims to a few of these, and even you start to go into the bigger prices. Monopolise is disappointing last time out, but beat an informed horse before that. What about you, John? What was on the list?
Yeah, Skysail for me. I thought it was a really good run when he won over this course and distance early in the season. It was 2 lengths that day, but it could have been much more if they'd not eased it close up. And nothing wrong with that second place finish at Ascot last time out off a pound lower mark than this. So at double digits, 11-1, you're getting 5 places in the race. That'll do for me each way, Skysail.
Yeah, and wasn't particularly well positioned at Ascot last time.
No, it wasn't, absolutely not, no. But, I thought it was a good finish in the end behind Good Gracious, and it's only gone up a pound for that. And as Kealy said, form on good to soft ground, so he'll probably, act on this tomorrow, and I think he'll get in the frame.
Yeah, absolutely. Novus, then 9-2, Metal Merchant 7-1, but it is Skysail for John. I quite like Roaring Success and Skysail. Keels?
Yeah, Skysail for me, and Novus. I think he got the trip okay.
Okay, fair enough. And Tom?
Glenn Finnan. I'll take a chance on him.
Okay, and Keels, who won the plate?
Ashtree Meadow.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Apologies to...
one of about 17 of Gordon Elliott's runners, I think.
Right, okay. Well, commiserations to Dave Lowe's mum. Last 2 races then at Goodwood tomorrow's card.
Background.
Got a 7 furlong Fillies Maiden up next. 14 of them running here in heavy ground. Really eye-catching run from Ornelia last time out, and the money has come for this filly. 9-4. Get jiggy with it. Na 3-1. Classical Song 5-1. Chardon Joy is 6-1. Gassier is 10-1. Imperial Express 12's Really Darn Hot is 16-1. Guess the Sire. True Wisdom is 16-1. And it is bigger prices the rest. A race that often throws up a quite talented filly. Tom, often goes to ones at the head of the market as well. It's often one of those races, I get the feeling you get a few social runners, horses or trainers that think we'll throw them in here first time out. They'll run okay and we'll win back end of the season. But yeah, I thought the favourite ran really well on debut.
Absolutely, yeah. And Get Jiggy with it did as well. I mean, like you suggested there, I think horses with form around Goodwood in these big field maidens have a big advantage, or with a bit of experience, those two have got it. That's why they're at the top of the market. We're going to say it all the time, though, aren't we? We don't know how any of them are going to act on the ground. And we can guess that their pedigree suggests so. We can guess with their actions and whatever, but it's completely an extreme of ground. I think the experience will help because they'll be out front, out of the muck, out of the kickback and whatever. I just slightly prefer Ornelia, but I'm quite prepared to see anything win it, really.
Yeah, fair enough. There was one that interested me a little bit at a bigger price that I thought ran quite well as well, and that was Amanda Perrett's runner, Unreal Connection. I thought that shaped really well at Salisbury. Completely different conditions, but it was, there was ability there, and the horse behind it, Andrew Balding's, bolted up at Epsom.
Yeah, Calix. She's by Calix. Calix is having a tremendous start to his stallion career. He had another really impressive winner at Bullway the other day. So, yes, I wouldn't be put off Unreal Connection by any stretch of imagination. And obviously, local trainer would be love to have a winner here, wouldn't she, Amanda?
Yeah. Drawn 12, Jim Crowley in the saddle as well, of course.
Yeah.
Coral Ambassador.
He is, yeah. I think he said he needs to step up on that run, but showed promise on debut. So, with that experience behind now, might go well here. I'm sticking with Frankie's run. I get jiggy with it. I think that experience, first time out, finishing second. I expect to improve on that. And of the two, the prices right now, I'll take the 3-1 on Frankie's.
Okay, there you go. And Keels.
Yeah, I mean, it's all, like Tom said, it's all guesswork over the ground. There were a few in here by a sire called Inns of Court, who is the sire of the nursery favourite, has all the good soft ground form. So they interested me. Gassia of Richard Hannon's, who cost 72,000, and Imperial Express costs twice as much and there's a bigger price for Andrew Balding, and is a half-sister to Ebro River, who has group winning form on soft ground as well. So I thought those two were interesting of the unraced, and I might have a couple of quid each way on them just for the bit of fun. But obviously it's not a race you can take seriously as a betting heat.
It has been nibbled, Imperial Express, 16-12. So somebody fancies it. I think it's wearing a hood first time out, but yeah, somebody fancies it, 16-12.
Andrew Balding won this race not last year but the year before as well. So.
And he's had a good week so far, hasn't he? So they're in great form.
Yeah, I mean, they're rarely out of form, aren't they, to be fair? But yeah, they do like Goodwood, they do like soft ground. Last race tomorrow, if it goes off to time, I better go off to time or we're going to have to delay our start, aren't we? But at 5:55, the 5 furlong handicap to tomorrow. Holcombe Bay, 7-2 favourite. Democracy Dilemma, 11-2. Estate, 6s. JM Jungle, 6s. Desperate Hero, 8s. Thundermore, 8s. Desert Games, 9s. 14-1, bar those. A big field here, Paul Kealy. But I looked at this race, I looked at the draw, and I looked at the ground, and I said, won't Democracy Dilemma just pop out and make all?
I said the same about Holcombe Bay, funny enough.
Oh, we better touch them both then, haven't we?
Yeah, I've had a good bet on Holcombe Bay. I think he just really impressed me the way he went through his race at Doncaster last time. He's so fast. He was so quick out of the stalls. He was 9-1. There was 2 horses in the race, evens and 6-5. He traded at 5s on him, running 5 lengths clear, approaching the final furlong. Just didn't quite see him out. Then look at his pedigree, by a claim, top class horse on bad ground. The Dam one on soft ground. The Dam sire, Captain Rio, won a Group 2 in France by about 6 lengths on soft ground. It's all soft ground form. His action suggests so as well. He's just going to go out, he'll go through the ground like nothing else, and he'll win easily. I think a mark of 80 is just way underestimates him.
Okay, fair enough. I was fairly confident about Democracy Dilemma bagging that rail making all, but Keels has popped the balloon there, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my type of race, Ross. 3-year-old sprint handicap.
Whoa, hang on. It is your type of race, Tom. You've got 20 seconds. You'll give us the winner.
Well, funnily enough, I thought it was between your two. I mean, I couldn't see any. I mean, now the other one that I fancied's come out, hasn't it? George Scott's horse. So I thought it was between the two. Listen, Holcombe Bay might be the one. I think he's got the more. He's only had 3 runs, hasn't he? So he's got the progression on his side. Democracy Dilemma is the one that might be best suited by a slog through the mud. Page Money, Page. I personally always side on the up and comer because they're very frustrating if you miss them. So I'll be on Holcombe Bay, but I don't mind if this overruns, Ross, because I'd much rather be doing this with you and the Rochdale Cowboy and my mate Keels from Bognor Regis than watching that race.
Fair enough. But the last time we did a 5 furlong 3-year-old handicap, though, it was when Tatterstall won at Epsom, and you went, I hate this race, but Tatterstall really stood out. Dodds 5 furlongs. So again, you do it. You just do it all the time.
Well, I don't think about it. That's the point. If you start going into them, it's too difficult, isn't it?
Well, no, I mean, but I took the Segal approach, and I looked at it and went Democracy Dilemma straight down the rail, and Keels has taken the Segal. We're all learning from Tom Segal, and what we're learning is don't think about it.
No, that's right. That's the lesson in life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tom Kealy there. Don't think about, just do. Holcombe Bay for me, Ross. I think it's a better horse over 5 furlongs. I really do. I think this drop down to the minimum trip will suit. Done absolutely nothing wrong so far in his 3 starts, has he? Very little, and I think he'll improve again. So yeah, very simple for me, Holcombe Bay.
Okay, lovely stuff. Holcomb Bay then 100 to 30. We'll get into the naps and things for a second in a second. But Keels, we made a promise, so can we at least see a big old spoonful before we go?
What was the promise again? I don't even remember this, and I don't know why I'm doing it.
I said if we get over 250 likes, you'd eat an entire jar of Marmite. And we haven't got time for the entire jar, but I want a spoonful before the nap.
Healthy spoonful.
Small jar of
spoonful.
Marmite Keels.
Yeah.
Heat.
I won't be there
Well,
very
we're
long.
only here for a week. Where's
Oh,
my
yeah.
spoon? Ready? Are you ready? Can you
I'm
see
ready.
how much? Can you see how much is on that? That's a fair.
Definitely
I'm ready.
Marmite. It's definitely Marmite, not chocolate.
Can you see it? Can you see it?
Is this? Are you Penn and Teller? What is this? A magic trick?
It's going to disappear.
That is Marmite. Yeah,
Yeah, we're waiting. Yeah.
Yum.
What a man.
Look at that.
What a
Lovely.
man. Like and subscribe for that alone. Now, Tom has promised us that if this show, tonight's show, gets 1,000 likes, which it won't, but it might, maybe you've got a lot of friends, Tom Segal will come into the studio either tomorrow or Friday evening.
No, not this week.
So when are you going to come in then for the entire week of the EBOR meeting?
I will come in on the day of my choice. If possible.
Honestly,
And
you
what-
must. I mean, you must have been an absolute nightmare as a kid, Tom. You really must have been.
Where's your beard gone anyway?
Where's my beard? Come in and find out. Quite frankly,
It was windy today.
It was windy.
You and Rodway have both come in fresh-faced. What's happened?
I mean, it's August, isn't it? It's August. I just thought it was about time. And I was starting to look, old, quite frankly. So, okay, 1,000 likes, and Tom Segal will come in when he blooming fancies it, quite
That'll
frankly.
be this year. It'll be in the flat season.
It'll be this year. There's a promise for you. Right, okay. Thanks, Tom. Anyway, we'll get the naps after this. There you go, off to the Breeders' Cup, where I'm pretty sure they don't sell Marmite. But naps, day 3, glorious Goodwood, starting off with Mr. Paul Kealy.
Yeah, Holcomb Bay. If it does overrun, you lot can talk amongst yourself because I'm watching this. I've had a good bet on it in the last.
Fair enough. Tom Segal.
I'll chance Have Secret in the opener. I think it's a really hard race, but I think he's overpriced.
Okay, fair enough. I'll go for an artistic star in the Gordon Stakes. And John?
Gray's Inn in the nursery, £17 well in. That'll do for me.
Lovely stuff. There you go. Best of luck tomorrow. Hope the bad weather doesn't spoil it too much. But if we go through the car with the winners, who cares whether it's raining? See you same time tomorrow night.